Hello. I'm back. It's been a while. As some of you may already know, I have been pretty busy running a business of underground plastic surgeries. It was all good and fun while it lasted. Unfortunately, I have to lay low after being sued for malpractice and performing medical procedures without a license, so now I'm back to things I'm good at. Dumpster diving. Let's dive in. In this video, I want to show you some of the new content of Yandere Simulator in detail, and like everything on this channel, it's related to garbage. I have missed a good amount of updates, gameplay additions, and fixes. It may be a little late, but it's still better than never. One of the things that really got my attention is the new dumpster area of the school. Ironically, it turned out to be one of the most well-thought and fleshed-out parts of the environment in the whole project. First, let's take a look at how we see it in the game. As we can see, it's made out of a limited set of assets. However, the way it's put together makes a pretty organic scene, without noticeable repetition, unlike some other places. We can safely state that there was a good amount of effort put into all this trash. Let's get into details and see what's it made of. At first, I felt a sense of dread thinking of digging through the garbage of assets trying to find meshes and textures I need. I mean to say there is a lot of garbage inside the project, and ironically it's not assets in question. Luckily for me, the creator of the assets named them so that I managed to find most of the files I needed. I did search a little bit more, but I should remind you, I'm not being paid enough for that. I need something more than a zero. Now, let's take a look at the assets from the inside. I have loaded and sorted the models that share the signature of the author. Don't mind the flower pot. I'll begin by showing you the topology. Banana peel. It's an object that is supposed to have an organic shape, therefore it demands a higher polygon count to look convincing. The artist did a good job giving the necessary amount of detail to such a small item. By the way, have you seen any students in Yandere Simulator eating a banana? I wonder if it will be a part of another feature in the future, to make your rivals slip on the peel. The barrel. There is not much to say about it. I would have made it a little bit different. I would detach the rings from the surface so that they don't divide the outer sides into 3 different groups of polygons. However, it's a very minor and completely unnecessary thing to do. Food container. It's very simple, but it has chamfered corners that add to it noticeable detail. Don't you just like looking at garbage through a microscope? I know I do. Lock and chain. There are 2 versions of this model. Round shapes are very demanding on polygon count, but thanks to vertex normals, sharp corners of low polygonal surfaces can be concealed. Nothing much to say about this. Cups. Here I have 2 of them. You may wonder why not 1? That's because they have different UV unwrap. I will show it to you later. Garbage bag. Pretty convincingly made a bag of trash. By the way, making such a model may be a bit harder than you think if you don't know the right and easy method. Nothing much to say about it, other than it's very representative of our dearest senpai and his highly professional crew. It's also a good representation of Mulberry's gracious silhouette and artistic ability. Trashcan, my favorite item from this collection. It may be a future home to some people when fame and Patreon will run dry and no one would want to hire you because of a very long record of embarrassing shenanigans that would make even Walmart turn down the resume. But let's talk about Topology. It's decent, like all the previous models in this video. However, there is something I don't like. The topology over these sections. Looks like the creator left n-gons here and let the software triangulate it, resulting in this very random pattern of edges. It's not a big deal, but it's a good practice to have topology and control. Sometimes triangulation can make very tiny or very elongated polygons that may be shaded wrongly in the game engine. Another thing that bothers me is detached polygons, and I'm certain it's not the work of the extracting software. I would like to know, why is it necessary to detach polygons like that? Answer in the comment section. I know you're watching, love. Let's count the number of vertices that result from detached polygons. 586 vertices. Let's fix it. After performing the merge, it goes down to 344. It's not a big deal, but it stacks up when the object is used multiple times. However, the Yandere Simulator project has much more pressing problems, such as its developers and lead artists' heavy immovable buttocks. Let's take a look at this variation of a trash can. You may think it's different like it was with cups before, but, actually, it's the very same mesh and the very same bag. They are just put together in one mesh container. The bags are resized and cut in the lower half. This way you can reuse existing models to make something new. You may wonder, but what about the texture? Isn't that two different models with two different textures merged together? Actually, most of the assets in this collection share one single texture map. Let's take a look at it. This is the Atlas texture for the set of assets used for the dumpster area. You can recognize the models I have shown to you, and even more than that. This is a very well-made atlas. Very optimized. Pretty much all the space is utilized. It's also lightweight, just 1,000 dots square. Let's apply the texture. Really adds the flesh onto the lifeless wiry frames. Let's use this set to make our own dump. Beautiful. Not as beautiful as the face of our beloved game developer, just good enough. The scene has some repetitions, but they are not very noticeable. Now let's ask a very important question: how much did the game developer of the decade pay for this? This is a good job that warrants compensation. I hope it's something above single digits. That's all about the garbage assets. I mean to say assets for garbage. However, it's not everything I wanted to show. You may wonder, what are these two weird pieces? These are the parts of the washing machine. Strangely enough, I could only find the barrel and the door of the washer. You may find it interesting that this is in fact 3 objects, not 1. Unless there is another unknown combined mesh. To me it doesn't make much sense. Why does it have to be separate? Could it be the issues with animations? Or is it yet another awkward workaround of incompetent development? Let me also point out this placeholder. Straight from yet another MMD scene. At least it does look very much like something from MMD. The texture resolution is extremely low, and the mesh itself is just boxes and planes. You can count the polygons of these models by your fingers. Some pieces have such small polygon count you can't make out what they are meant to be. I tried to find this collection in the game files, but as I have said, project files are a dense pile of garbage. The naming is very inconsistent and sometimes non-existent. You can't guess what the file contains. I have tried to look it over the internet, but I could not be bothered to spend more than 5 minutes scrolling through DeviantArt. Needless to say, these assets are placed very crudely. Let's hope they will be replaced very soon. That's all for this video. There is more to cover in the game files, but I'll leave it for another time.